Life Class by Pastor Cesar Castellanos. Week 8. Nothing Less Than God's Best. Day 50. I am a son or daughter. The Spirit you receive does not make you slaves so that you live in fear again. Rather, the Spirit you receive brought about your adoption to sonship, and by Him we cry, Abba, Father. Romans chapter 8 verse 15. Derek Prince was a man greatly used by God. When he married his first wife Lydia, he adopted the 8 children she had already taken into her care. A few years later, they were doing missionary work in Africa when a small group came to their house with a sick, undernourished baby in their arms. One woman said, "This little girl's mother died when she was born." A social worker found her on the floor of the hut and took her to the local hospital. They've looked after her for 6 months, but the hospital is not a children's home. They can't keep her. We heard that you took in children. Lydia said, "That was years ago. We're much too old to do that now. Besides, we're so busy with our educational work, we don't have any time for a little baby, a sick baby at that." The lady said, "We're so tired. Would you let us just sit down for half an hour and rest?" They did, and at the end of the half hour, they got up to go. As the lady carried the child past Derek Prince, the baby girl stretched out her hands toward him. He took this as a sign from God that he should adopt the child, and so he said, "Maybe we'll change our minds." That was how they adopted their 9th daughter, who they raised and educated. This girl brought so much joy to their lives, much more than they could ever have imagined. She is now a missionary in Israel because God gave her a deep compassion for the Jewish people. Derek Prince gave the same attention and place of privilege in his life to this baby girl as he would have given to a biological son or daughter. When a child is adopted, they receive the same rights as a birth child. Both are part of the same inheritance and the same family. They receive the same care and the same privileges. What state were we in when we came to the Lord? Most of us were in a sorry state, like a child with neither father or mother. We were spiritually helpless, undernourished, and naked. When the Lord looked at us and saw how dirty and depraved we were, He could have thought, "I already have a people of my own, the people of Israel. I am satisfied with them." God could have considered us strangers, but He did not. Although we had no hope of redemption, He extended His mercy toward us and loved us with His infinite grace. Just like that undernourished baby, we reached out our arms to the Lord and He was moved to compassion. Although we were not originally His people, He made us His own. Although we were not legitimate sons and daughters, He adopted us just as we were and was pleased to give us the same rights as His children. God rescued us out of darkness and made us His children so that we would no longer need to live in fear. He is now your Father and you are His child. When you decided to give your life to the Lord, He adopted you and gave you the right to be called a child of God. When God adopted us, we receive His heart and His character. When God adopted us, we became heirs of His riches and privileges. Live the lesson. There are many differences between a person who is simply visiting a house and the son or daughter in a home. Take some time to think about those differences and evaluate your own situation within the family of God. Do you feel like a child of God or like a visitor? As a son or a daughter, what privileges do you have? As a visitor, what is it like? Until now, I have felt like a blank in the house of God because I blank. In terms of my attitudes, I would like to change blank so that I can be a better child of God. Starting now, begin to see yourself as a true heir of God and behave as such. Remember the lesson. I am no longer an outsider. I am a child of God. Study the Word. Read Psalm 103, Psalm 104, 1 Corinthians chapter 15. This audiobook is narrated by Paulin Lu for the purpose of helping life class students. All credit belongs to Pastor Cesar Castellanos and his team of translators, and all glory belongs to our Lord Jesus Christ. No copyright infringement intended.